Good afternoon, action and video fans. This is the General coming back at you with another small haul. We haven't had this kind of a small haul, though, on the show for quite some time. In fact, I don't even think we've actually touched on this subject matter at all. Some MOTU, Masters of the Universe. I'm sure if you've been collecting toy, people that are watching, you know of the line. You've heard of it before. Probably grew up with it. Probably grew up with watching the show. Anyways, a very special long-term client of ours brought us some MOTU stuff, again in varying shapes. Don't know if the General's going to take it on as a custom job or not, but what can you say? Any MOTU to help rebuild our stocks of MOTU, because you know, over the years, most of it got bought out. Just because, again, people love He-Man and Masters of the Universe, and when there isn't really a movie or some kind of a thing going on in it, these are what drive people to go for stuff that's not so sung after a while. Anywho, let's go and check out what we got in the small hauls. It's going to be a little bit of MOTU, but a little bit of, there's a couple other pieces or whatever that you'll see in a moment. But starting with that, and actually, I said about MOTU, but the first thing I got to grab out of here to get everything out of the way is actually not MOTU. It's a Superpowers Superman vehicle. I had this when I was growing up as well too. Again, why does Superman need a vehicle if he flies? But again, they were just thinking of everything to give somebody a vehicle and so forth, and something alongside Lexor 7, if you guys remember. But anyways, here we go. Supermobile right here. So she needs to get cleaned up a little bit. She needs a canopy and a fin, top fin, and I think she's pretty well good to go. The nice part about this piece was that there wasn't really much to it that way, like to break off or get lost or things like that. So anyway, Supermobile, a little bit. All right, so moving off some of these parts, what do we got? Well, first thing first, without busting up a full pile of stuff here, I think you know this guy, Snake Mountain, Skeletor's base, main base of operations, and where a lot of the bad guys go to group up and go and take on those heroic Eternians. Now, again, this is a very, very, you know, down to the very basics boneyard. There isn't really much in the way of parts and things like that I have in this one. But again, buddy was looking, clearing out his closet, and hey, why not? You knew that we were into this stuff. So anyways, unfortunately, I only have half the base or whatever. We've gone through our fair share of Snake Mountains and things like that. But anywho, it's, you know, again, it's things that come in our way without us having to search too high and low for it. Anyways, I'm not sure how many of you had Snake Mountain. Comparatively, Snake Mountain was a little lesser, you know, like, I mean, they were all widely available, but compared to Grayskull, it's a little bit lesser common. And obviously, like I said, I'm not entirely sure whether I'm going to do this one or not. But to give you an idea of what's missing, at least on the front part, we need the microphone. The infamous Voice of Snake Mountain microphone needs to be fixed up. We need the snake head for that. We need some clips on here. We need the bridge, like the bridge work. What else? Oh yes, right, the retaining cuffs to capture opponents and things like that. Probably a whole bunch of other stuff too, like the like weapons racks and things like that. If I do this build, I'll keep you up to speed whether or not we go for that. But one of the most difficult pieces to find on Snake Mountains, or expect to have present, is the battery cover. Believe it or not, it's just actually the battery cover. A lot of time when you come across a Snake Mountain, that's, you know, like a lot of the time, at least here anyways, the battery cover is missing, and the electronics package, we're not really sure if it ends up working or not. But if you're savvy with you know, much like other sort of intercom things, you know, the one that I can think of most off the top of my head is the flag for GI Joe. But anyways, if you're really good with soldering and things like that, and know like walkie-talkies, radios, things like that, or whatever, you know, you could probably open it up and tweak it a bit that way. So anyways, Snake Mountain. What else do we got? Oh, I think you know this piece. If you follow the He-Man, you just can't help but know this piece. That's right. Castle Grayskull. At least the shell of Castle Grayskull. And what can I say? This thing's been around. Oh God, this thing's older than me. You know, I remember the first time I got Castle Grayskull as a kid. It was probably one of my most fondest toy memories because at the time He-Man was huge and big and all these other kind of things. I remember there was this place before Toys R Us came to town in Canada here near Ottawa. I got it from this place called Toy City, and it was phenomenal. I mean, it was probably our last before Toys R Us took over here and all that thing. It was probably our last sort of wave to that you could get not only the new stuff that was coming out, but like at the time, but you could also it was like a direct link to the past, previous generation stuff, and you could get He-Man, you know, Star Wars, you had all that stuff, and they did it quite well. Anywho, when I was just a little young one there, I remember fondly just that night that they brought it home and they went up to the top of the all the way to the top of the shelf or whatever. You got mine, and there was just it seemed like there was tons of them and everything else. But here we have Grayskull. This one is obviously not in the best of shape or whatever such, you know. And again, most of this is just a boneyard and whatnot. But problem areas, we got the hinges. Again, critical that these are in place because again, this helps open and close the base efficiently. It's got some wear. These are another thing too, folks. Problem areas with these, the hinges with the clasps or what have you to seal the base. Sometimes they're always, or not sorry. Sometimes they can be broken off. What else? You know, just you know, what can you say? It's over 30 years old, so you got a lot of wear and some damage on that. Anyways, as you can see, I need to completely redo and clean this base up and get parts for it. We'll see. Like I said, sometimes oh, there we go. It's coming apart. See, sometimes you know, as cool as a base would be and be to do, sometimes when it's missing so much, it ends up being to get the parts and pieces and everything. By the time you're through that, by the time you're through shipping, by the time you're through exchange, you pretty much, you know, you might as well have just bought a complete one. So that's what we have going on with that. And there we have it. So yeah, Grayskull, parts and pieces. Here we go. Don't know how many of you are tuning in, but I appreciate it, and we're growing definitely, you know, and you know, obviously haven't reached that first 100 milestone, but I definitely shout out everybody who's kept up with us so far and been patient and hopefully upper production value. The Room Show Sucks is doing awesome. We got our key IT person there doing the production value for it, and so hopefully some of that reaps on over to what we're doing in here. Anyways, next piece. Again, some people would have gotten it or lived without it. I got 2/3 of a Fright Zone. So same deal. It's pretty well. It's one of those chassis type things or whatever. Again, you got some wear and damage or whatever. Hordak, again, when Hordak and She-Ra and all that stuff start coming into the foray of things, again, your core fan base by then is pretty much, you know, growing up and getting out of He-Man and things like that, and it's just another thing that's kind of coming in and out. But anyways, there we go. Again, same deal. Don't know if I'm going to go and complete it entirely, but we'll have to see about that. Oh. So we'll see. And then parts and pieces for it. We got the, I guess the living tree that would catch opponents and things like that. Unfortunately, I don't have the back wall to connect it on, so we'll have to see about that. We will have to see. Okay, and parts from Snake Mountain. Again, I got a couple more parts for it. We got the good old snake head. I'm pretty sure you knew what that does. So again, it's a good piece to have. Another piece, folks, to watch out for on Snake, you know, like used Snake Mountains. This, of all the pieces that I was just saying, especially the battery cover, we also got the clip, so to hold that shut, the base shut. What else we got? Oh, the Dragon Walker, again, very popular vehicle. Tons of them made, you know, Mattel made tons of them. Same deal. Cool piece, you know. Again, we've had several of them. I remember when Toys R Us first came to town in Canada there way back, and they still had He-Man on the shelf. They what was it? There was tons of dragon walkers when he first came in, and I just remember all these dragon picked a couple of them up at that time. But anywho, this one's missing the battery cover, same deal. I have no idea whether it works. Kind of need the battery cover for that, so we'll have to see. And what can you say? You got a couple of figures here. You got Dragstore, Horde, the adversary Dragstore. Got Teela, and she's in absolutely horrendous shape. You know, it's very important that their legs work and everything else and whatnot. I just so happened, out of all the things of MOTU to have before this, I just so happened to have her staff, which is, you know, can be a finicky, you know, challenging part to find secondhand, and trying to track it down. Anyways, what I need her armor. I need like her armor, and I need her shield. Also, folks, there is, you know, for your old busting down and deteriorating legs on MOTU figures, there is a solution actually, if in case your legs break off on your figures. It's kind of similar to a GI Joe thing with the rubber band. You need to get a thicker rubber band, I believe. I'd have to find the exact thickness there. And I believe the fix is just you feed it through the, you know, like the crotch area, whatever you want, and you put I think it's like hooks or something like that into their legs, like really small ones, and you can actually, you know, put the legs back on it. I'll demo this, of course, once I get around to doing that and have the parts and pieces for that. So here you go, Teela. Oh yeah, and Dragstore, he needs his backpack here. He needs his ripcord type thing. And again, you know, you grew up with all these toys, so you know what you do. You put the ripcord in, and then he goes forward. And Dragstore, there you go. Mechaneck, here we go. Here's another one. Again, his leg's a little twisted or whatever such, but again, you know, needs some touch up. He's old, what can I say? But you know, needs his armor, needs his, you know, his mace and things like that. So here we go, Mechaneck. And oh yeah, and that still works fine. I remember Mechaneck back in the day. And just a couple other pieces, folks, before I have to go and cut this live stream off. Battle Cat saddle. And so now I need a Battle Cat and the mask. So we'll see about it. Battle Cat, yeah, always a good one to get. Very important for He-Man. Just some accessories and Terror Claws Skeletor accessories again. Need a Terror Claws Skeletor to do that or whatever such. And of course, Terror Claws comes with it. It's the claws, and of course that like bone, like blaster jaw thing or whatever such. I think goes on his back. But anyways, Terror Claws. He was alongside Thunder Punch He-Man. And oh yeah, and I think one piece for Grayskull or whatever is just for the for in the castle, in the tower, where you would mount like where you put the cannon, slip the cannon in. So I'm not sure if it'll still work on this. It's looking like a little bit of tab breakage there, so not sure if it will go in or not. And I think I only have one other piece for Grayskull. I think it's like the eagle or something like that. But he's buried somewhere. But anywho, that's it, folks, for now. Live stream done, and MOTU and a little bit of an MOTU boneyard here. I'll just give you a quick pan around on that. And what can you say? Boneyards are always fun to kind of get and such. So there you go. Try to stabilize this camera for you. So, you know, sometimes we can't always get them mint in shape and things like that, but sometimes we can have some fun with them afterward, right? So there you go, Supermobile as well. I'll probably complete that, I would imagine. I need to find myself a superpower Superman as well. But anywho, MOTU. There we go. So anywho, folks, it was awesome. I very much appreciate the support and everything else so far. Live streams are always fun to do. And what can I say? Easy. You don't have to spend all kinds of time uploading with my quaint connection that I got. And here we go. MOTU. Do we send it out or do we complete it? You tell me in the comment section. Should I complete or should I send out? Thank you very much. General out.